Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc., the channel all about bringing as much nerdy content as possible. Today for you, we are back in Dragon Village and we got a brand new dragon. We got a brand new attack type, Nat 5. It's the rate up right now, so probably pretty important to pay attention because it's kind of interesting. Let's get into this. As always, if you're new to the channel, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you like Dragon Village M or you're trying to get into the game, I do reviews of all the brand new dragons as they come out, or just other dragons that are super good in the game. I give all kinds of tips and tricks and pointers and everything I can to help this game grow and just become better and better. So I just want to keep as many new players excited about the game as I am, like 3 years into this game, right? So, I appreciate all the subscribers I can get. We're getting close to that 1,000 mark. We're still a little bit off, but we're making headway every single week. So, fingers crossed that hopefully we get it, I would say, by the end of the year. That's what my hope is. By the end of the year, hopefully we'll get there. If you really enjoy what I do and you want to support me more, I have a link in the description below for Patreon, as well as I have shirts that have the Battle Ready Inc. logo across it. I've got a black one and a white one. If you support me on Patreon, though, you can get invited to my Discord server and join us there, talk to us. If you ever need any help, I'm just a message away. I usually respond pretty quickly. If you shoot me up in there, then if you ever have any questions, I can always help you there. But enough about that. Let's look at this brand new dragon, Poseidon. So it is an attack type. We got a water type, we got a light type here, and we got a dark type. Super cool design. I really like this. It's kind of weird. It's like its heart is showing there, like pulsing, like the weak point in the armor kind of thing. The water type, I do want to point out, is the rate up right now. So if you're watching this, August 2020, then this is the rate up right now, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, let's go. Oh, I guess we'll look at the little version, medium, and he's got a weird looking face, like a beak thing going on there where he doesn't have the beak here, so I don't know. Yeah, alright, so let's just get in here and look at these skills. I am going to make some comparison to some other dragons, so just keep that in mind. So this is basically our brand new support for Bottom Lane Clan Dungeon. That's pretty much the only place you're going to ever use this guy, at least right now in the game. Maybe in some other very obscure content, but this one right here is Bottom Lane Clan Dungeon is what this guy's going to be for. And the reason I say that, target count of 7. If you ever see target count of 7, it's pretty much a guaranteed that's what it's for, is for that Bottom Lane Clan Dungeon, because there's 7 boss heads that you have to hit all at once to do maximum amounts of damage. Alright, so condenses the mana of the sea into a water jet, attacking enemies. This attack increases its user's attack by 50%. Cool. So we get a 50% attack buff. That's pretty huge. That's a pretty big buff. And then the other guys, they're going to do it as well. It's kind of odd that they do a water jet as well, and there's only the water type up here, but okay. I do want to jump over here. Let's look at the drag skill support. 6 or more targets increases final damage by 125%. And that's going to be across the board on all of these guys. Alright. So now that we've seen this, now we got to go in and make our comparisons. So this guy is basically like your mini dragon and your dark bane, right? He's going to do the same basic stuff as those guys. I want to jump over here to the dark one. He's right there. All right, let's look at his skills. So all these guys are all going to be the same on these. Target count of 7, same cooldown of 20. Damage is increased by 10% for each 1 targeted enemies. Target count of 7. So we're going to go up by 70% when we do this skill, on top of a 100% bonus when you target 6 or more. And if you remember, the other guy has a bonus of 125%. So you think, oh, 125%, better than the 100%. However, this is going to give you 70% to this attack, mind you. To this one attack, you'll get a bonus of... It's kind of weird how the math works out. I'm not sure if it's like 70% is done first and then 100% after that's added up, right? Or if it's 170%. Because, I mean, think about it. If you're doing 100 points of damage, right? And then you increase it by 70% right here. So that's another 70. That's 170. And you increase that by 100, which means you're just doubling it. So then you're doing 340. 170 times 2 is 340 damage, right? If you did it the other way, though, if you took this 70% and added it to this 100%, then you're increasing it by 170%. And that's only going to be 270 damage. See, you're missing 70 points of damage there, depending on how the math works out. I don't know yet, based off of this. So either way, though, whether it's 170% or 70% and then 100%, that's way more than the 125% the other dragon gives. Now you're thinking, well, the other guy, he had the plus 50%. So he gives an attack buff, right? That gives him 50% attack increase. However, all of your support types are probably giving you attack buffs as it is, which means you're going to be capped out on the number of attack buffs you can have. So, and if your support types are already covering your attack buffs, why have a dragon that gives you another attack buff? It just doesn't make sense to me to have it like that. But it is what it is. Let's go look at mini dragon right quick. There's not a dark type mini dragon, so we'll jump. Where are you? I have one, so that should make it easy. There we go. All right, so mini dragons. So we have all but the dark type of mini dragon. So Darkbane gives us the dark type, and the other guy, you know, we got the light, dark, and water type. So by all these guys combined, you should very easily be able to get one of every element, whether it's a mini, Darkbane, or the new Poseidon. You should be able to get one of those three, you know, to help cover your elements. Alright, so Mini Dragon works the same way. Increases 10% for each hit. As well as, it says final damage is doubled. That's literally the same thing as adding 100%. Now he says final damage is doubled. So that means after this 70% is applied, then you double it. So if that's how Darkbane works out, that's way more damage than Poseidon is putting out. So right now, we're looking at Mini Dragon and Darkbane are still the better options. Based on the drag skill alone, mind you. We're still looking at just the drag skill on these guys, alright? Alright, let's jump back over, though, to our new Poseidon. And let's look at the rest of the skills here. I want to jump over to these passives first. So crit rate is increased by 20%, or crit damage is increased by 20%. Pretty solid numbers there. Remember, water is the rate up right now, so this is the one you're looking at the most, is the crit rate 20%. All right, again, jumping over. Let's go hit up mini first since we're here. Where are you at? There you are. All right, crit rate 20%, so exact same. Attack is 20%. Crit rate and attack again. Mind you, we're pretty much only going to be comparing the light and the water type here. So crit rate, exactly the same. So far, exactly the same on that. And then attack, you might be better off with the crit damage. We're in PvE content here, so getting critical hits is way easier compared to PvP, where you got to worry about critical avoidance and craziness like that. So it's a lot easier to land your crits here with having basic crit rate, alright? So I think crit damage might be the better option for something like this. So for the light type, leaning towards the other one being a little bit better with that crit damage. But then at the same time, you know, this guy theoretically is putting out more damage on the drag skill. And honestly, the drag skill is the most important, because your little pew-pew single target attacks isn't going to get you nowhere in comparison. Because you're hitting one person at a time as opposed to 7 with a big super, you know what I mean? So, and I went right past him. Am I blind? Oh, there he is. Alright. And let's look at their drag skills, or their passives here. Attack, 20%. Alright, again, crit damage on the Poseidon. He's got attack and crit rate by 10%, so he's cutting his in half. and then he's doing the 20% crit rate. Again, there's our earth and fire, which really isn't really a comparison because we don't have those elements of the new Poseidon, but just food for thought. So instead of 1 getting 20, they're giving 10 to 2. I think I would rather have the one single one as one big buff, especially crit rate or crit damage. That helps out a tremendous amount, being able to basically take up an entire rune slot right there with one of these. Alright, but let's go look at this very last passive here and compare them all and bring them all together on the final thoughts. Alright, periodically attacks random enemies. So it's got a target count of 5. We're just increasing damage, cooldown of 10. So we're not reducing the cooldown timer, so every 10 seconds we're attacking 5 enemies. This attack increases its user's attack by 50%. So that's twice now we're getting this 50%. It's a 100% increase. Now again, if we're comparing this to attack up, a normal attack up is 20%. If we're going off of buffs here, this is applying a buff. Attack up is a buff, 20%. You can have 3 of these at one time for 60%. However, they're saying just increases users' attack by 50%. So maybe we're not applying a buff. Maybe it's not a buff, and we're just increasing our damage by 100%. And it doesn't say how long this lasts, and I think that's one of the things that bugs me most, is that neither of these skills say how long it lasts. I'm guessing it's not indefinite. Usually there's like a little window there of like 5 to 7 seconds where you're not going to have this buff. Maybe for this, it probably about 3 seconds, I would imagine. So it would last 7 seconds, and it keeps applying it every 10 seconds. So you got 3 seconds where you don't have this big buff of 100% damage. When you start factoring that in, that's way more damage. So you're getting 100% plus 125% on top of this skill. So instead of the 70 and then doubling on the final damage, this guy is saying that we're doing just 200% or 100, doubling it and then doubling it plus 25% again. Maybe this guy does hit a little harder than I thought at first. And so this is going to be the same skill on all of these here. So it says periodically attack random enemies, and we can increase the damage a little bit. Target count of 5. So overall, I wouldn't look at this as a good damage source right here. This is just basically they fit in another way to get more DPS buff for your drag skill. And like I was saying, your drag skill is the most important part. Your little single target basic attack or this little thing isn't your major source of damage. Your major source of damage is coming from your drag skill. So being able to give this big 50% buff here and 50% buff here, that's 100% on your drag skill is huge. As well as, by this logic, that 100% applies to this skill as well. And that's the same on all these guys. Let's go back and we'll look at Mini one more time and see what its skill is. And then we'll look at Dark Bane. Alright, inflict damage to random enemy, target count of 5 every 7 seconds here, so a little sooner. Final damage is multiplied on a critical hit by, basically it's increasing it by 60%. At 1.6, that means 60% is what it equates out to. So this only thing this skill does is just applies extra damage every 7 seconds. Critical hit. This attack receives a 50% bonus from attack. So whereas these other guys are going to go up by 60%, he's going to go up by 50%. Well, no, from attack. So it works out. Math works out differently there. So these skills don't give anything back to the rest of the dragon. They don't give any kind of buff. They don't give any extra. It's just a little extra bit of damage, right? And that's it. It doesn't give us anything else, any support. So then we'll go back over here to the Dark Bane, and we'll compare its skills here. Every set duration, inflict damage to a random enemy. Target count of 6. 10-second cooldown here. We're just increasing damage. Attack receives a 50% bonus from attack. So again, I think we get one extra person here, but we get an extra 3 seconds. Okay. I don't know how that math works out either. That's below 50% HP. Harder to trigger this to get that nice little bonus. Again, we're kind of comparing apples to oranges here. Earth and fire, not really applicable. So yeah, I was kind of hesitant at first, but after realizing that 50% and 50% is just a flat increase and not an attack, like an attack up buff. Oh geez, that's way more damage now. This thing is, so this is going to be the next one you're going to want to seek out. I've been hunting for a dark bane, a dark bane, because I don't have a 5-star bottom lane attacker. I've been using Hedgebat. Hedgebat, don't get me wrong, slinging out, you know, like 2.2 million every single drag skill. But by comparison, my maxed out my fire dark bane is throwing out about 2.8, 2.9, 3 million. So Hedgebat, while doing crazy amounts of damage, as a Nat 5, a Nat 5 can do better. A maxed out Nat 5, a non-maxed out Nat 5 is nowhere close to a maxed out Nat 4. So that's just, you gotta hit them to their absolute peak before they're worth it. So other than that, you're gonna want to stick with your Hedgebats. All right, that goes for this whole video. Right, I'm talking about how great these guys are, but if you're not in game, you're gonna want to get these guys. Hold on to them, slowly power them up, but just get a Hedgebat. Get a Hedgebat, get an Enhancement 6, Mastery 10, super easy to get it done. And you're going to be, like I said, you're going to be throwing out like 2.3 million damage on your drag skill with the Hedgebat on bottom lane clan dungeon. That's what this is all about. That's what this whole video is about. But yeah, for you in-game players and you're looking for the next best thing, this is it. This thing is crazy. That's massive damage. 100% damage, just blanket attack percentage right there, on top of that last one, that drag skill support of 125%. Final damage by 125%. So after you add all the stuff all together, the plus 100% attack. After you combine that and do all that damage, then we're gonna more than double. Like it's like 2.25 is what we're multiplying the damage by. So it's more than doubling our damage with this drag skill. That's nuts. Definitely the other two can't compare in raw damage for the drag skill alone. Remember though, the other ones are gonna do more damage on this skill here. This first passive, but the second skill. They're going to do more damage there, but I can tell you right now, I barely notice that damage in comparison to my drag skill. My drag skill just blows this little passive of the other two out of the water. You barely even notice it, honestly. Having a dragon that's just all about however much damage we can stack on top of our drag skill is how we're going to get the best damage. This one doesn't. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Right after this, I'm about to go jump in and hit me right up. So wish me luck. Hopefully I'll get this video posted soon for you guys so that way you can see it before you miss it. All right. Hopefully I can get it up and really stress how good this guy is. All right, guys. Definitely get yours if he's still the rate up. Get him and save him and power him up over time. All right. When he hits that maxness, he's gonna be beefy. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. If you haven't already, please like the video. It helps me out a ton. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. If you made it this far in the video, then clearly you either like me for some reason, or you at least like this game and this much to make it to the end. So definitely subscribe because I'll have more and more content for you guys in the future. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.